Darin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, this is going to be a great episode of the 10-minute POV with really the founder and CEO and president of Synchronet. So I'm super excited to hear about your story, your background, and how that led into building out Synchronet as a business and when you started that and where are you today? If you
Yeah,
wouldn't mind just walking us through that story, love it.
yeah, sure. I'll try to keep it to 10 minutes. I love talking about this stuff. Most of my experience came from sales and business leadership in the telecom industry. When I left that, I joined a group of investors, and we had a data center here in Houston that we owned and operated for a couple of years, and then exited that. Had a good exit. It was lots of fun. Learned a lot about being an entrepreneur and just engaging with investors and customers, and it was a lot of fun. But at that time, really wanted to do something in the cloud, right? Synchronet's actually a 32-year-old company that I ended up buying the majority interest of in December of 2016 and started in 17. So Synchronet at that time was, kind of a standard, MSP that was focused in on the mid market, and would really, try to do anything when it came to technology services for their customers. I'm a big believer in focus, and so what's funny is I thought focusing in on AWS would be a differentiator, right? Well, we're only going to focus in on one cloud platform, and naively didn't really understand the wide portfolio inside of AWS. And so once we started, engaging with customers, we learned that our superpower was around the end user computing space, right? Where we could help customers, get the set of applications that users need to be productive to them in a really secure way, no matter what device or location they're currently using. So we did that. We've had a lot of success, huge growth. We moved from primarily customers in the mid-market space to customers in the large enterprise space, and then also working with some of the largest organizations in public sector.
Oh, excellent. I had no idea Synchronet was 30 years old. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
And you're an aspiring entrepreneur who's already had an exit. That's
yeah,
awesome. Good
yeah.
for
I've
you.
learned what not to do.
I've been down that path myself. It's fun. But just curious, there are other options in terms of solutions and services surrounding end user computing. Azure, for example.
Mhm.
What tilted you into the world of AWS as opposed to any other alternatives that were out there?
Yeah, we get that question quite a bit. I would say first and foremost, as we were evaluating options at that time, Amazon lined up with us culturally, right? And kind of the way that we wanted to go to market. And we found a lot of benefit to the Amazon leadership principles, because we're a values first company. And so that's really where it started, right? We just aligned from a values perspective. When we started peeling back the onion on the technology and providing some comparison to other platforms, AWS was just so far ahead in the tool set that they had enabled, enterprise and large public sector organizations to leverage to accomplish their goals. And it was just really no looking back at that point, right? So although what's interesting is, people often ask, hey, what you do in the workload you focus in on is primarily Microsoft stuff, right? It's Microsoft OS. It is, but the way that Amazon and is taking it to market, and the tools that they're putting into the hands of the enterprise, I think is really, revolutionizing the way that customers can consume and automate, right, and enable a quality end user experience.
Love it. Can you give us an example of a customer success experience who went through that process of discovery and then really come to terms with the fact that Synchronet had all the ability to really synthesize the solution from the very beginning all the way to deployment, and now they're receiving the kind of results from a business perspective from that wonderful investment.
Right, right. Well, without tooting our horn and naming names, there's been quite a few Fortune, I would say 100 plus organizations. A couple of which are on the East Coast, quite a few in the central region, even in Chicago, where they were really stuck on. We know that we need to enable, desktops in the cloud. Our data is moving to AWS, and we need to find a way to provide secure access, primarily around, honestly, contingent workforce and remote workers, right? So we've been in this remote, enabling remote workers for 3 years now. And so, building in automation, building in the operational considerations to kind of lighten that burden has been a huge impact for our customers, right? And then sprinkle on that kind of your cost containment and the ability to consistently provide the resources that users need when they need them, cost aligned, has really opened the floodgates on really large opportunities where it may have been a VDI conversation before where, hey, we have 4,000 or 5,000 users on VDI and we have 50,000 users totally. We want to start thinking about more broadly how to bring that remote desktop capability to the masses, right? And our customers are doing that with new tool sets.
I like it. So it's April 1st, 2020. So we're in our third week of COVID in the US, in quarantine, in our homes. Obviously, with Synchronet having such a serious focus on end user computing, being an advanced consulting partner of AWS, and having that very competency, any thoughts around what the business is going to be doing for COVID related applications and services?
Yeah. So it's been a busy couple of weeks for sure. So we've been working with many organizations, right, to really help them scale. There's a couple of technologies, obviously, that are available, including VPNs or VDI. But what we're finding is that specifically workspaces and AppStream, right, and the ability to scale in a secure way, right? Because I am a little concerned that so many folks are leaning on VPNs, right, to provide the immediate access to internal systems. And I think we can all agree as a community that, VPNs has a place, right? But it's not the thing, it's a thing, right? There are security considerations that you need to think through when deploying VPN on a wide scale. And so we see our customers gravitating towards, workspaces and AppStream to be able to ensure that the data and user access is inside of a security perimeter that's in AWS, right? Versus essentially extending your security perimeter onto what may be an untrusted device. So we're working with customers really around how to get to scale. We recently deployed and worked with a customer to launch the world's largest AppStream environment within 3 weeks, right? So that's been a lot of fun, a lot of good lessons learned, but the scale to accommodate tens of thousands of users within a very short period of time is real, all right? And that's been the promise of the cloud.
Love it. Thank you. Real quickly, we only have maybe a minute left. You guys are growing and you're growing fast. I mean, you just brought in Adam Cousins, awesome sales executive to head up sales for you guys. So congratulations on that. What's the future of Synchronet? Where are you seeing it move to in the next 12, 18, 24 months, all things considered?
Yeah. So we grew 123% last year. I think we'll see triple digit growth again this year. And it's really around meaningfully engaging with large enterprise organizations to help them scale, right, a secure way to deliver their applications from the cloud, right? You've got, the application, a lot of people doing application work, right? And then you've got the users on the other side. We're trying to be that connective glue. And so I see us really working with customers and helping large organizations become internal service providers to help propagate that service throughout the organizations for both public sector and commercial.
Beautiful. Darin, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Come back for an encore presentation?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Chip.
Take care.